Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the Skoda Rapid Monte Carlo and you might be wondering, where am I? Well, I'm right here in front of you. This is the new 1.0 TSI motor and of course it's a brilliant engine in the right sense. And as you can see, I'm talking wirelessly because I no longer need to worry about having a wire attached to me, which was the case earlier, which meant that I couldn't use my gimbal. Now I can, so you can get stabilized footage, all thanks to Sennheiser's memory mic. This Sennheiser memory mic is a unique wireless microphone system for mobile video recording. All I have to do is just clip it on my collar. There's a magnetic attachment there and it slots there perfectly. The biggest USP of this wireless mic is that it records at any distance. There is no range issue whatsoever. This memory mic can record up to 4 hours of audio and comes with 3 inbuilt sensitivity settings. So as you can see, the Sennheiser memory mic is an excellent system to record audio wirelessly without having to worry about any sort of syncing issues. Anyways, let's start the vlog of the Skoda Rapid Monte Carlo. The Skoda Rapid was first launched in India in 2011. It got a facelift in 2016 and now in 2020 it's got a new engine, but you know what? The design looks more or less the same. Of course, the engine is new, so right away let's open the engine bay. This is the new engine from Skoda. It's a 1.0 TSI motor which also powers the Vento as well as the new Polo. There's nothing new about the Polo, Faisal. Any which ways, there's insulation right there, and the design of the Rapid obviously is in sync with Skoda's latest design language. It looks nice without a doubt, but you know what? It's dated. It's not that dated at the front, but it's definitely dated at the rear. And it's not that dated in terms of design, but it's dated in terms of the interiors. But we'll come to that in a bit. As you can see, this is the Monte Carlo variant. And I've actually left the windows open, which means that it's raining. I need to close them. All I have to do is keep this button pressed. And there you see this amazing feature of all VW Group cars is so cool. Press a button, even in a Rapid or a Polo, and it shuts all the windows. That's super cool. You can also open the windows. Just keep this button pressed. And there, the windows actually open. There they come down. Super duper cool, isn't it? Anyways, in terms of design, there's not much to talk about for the Rapid because it looks more or less the same as before. And these 16-inch wheels, the tire size happens to be 195, 55, 16, the same as what we see on the Verna and bigger than, of course, the City. The wheels look really nice indeed, and they've got this dual tone treatment, but the lower trim, which happens to be the Style, does not get dual tone treatment but gets similar looking wheels. Red color looks very good on this car, and there's this Monte Carlo badging, which actually, and I'm not kidding, it adds to the power of this vehicle. Coming to the rear, which I think honestly is the most disappointing part of the Rapid because it kind of looks plain and obviously feels a little dated too. You get these C-shaped lights, Rapid written right there, and of course a subtle lip spoiler too. Now there's a lot of gloss black on this car, like on the spoiler as well as on the roof as well, and of course the outside rear view mirrors too, and you can obviously see the towing hook which is placed right below as well. So let's do one thing. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. You press a button and there the boot opens. With a remote you can open the boot, and there's the camera, the reverse parking camera of this vehicle. The boot is actually smaller than what we see on the City, and it's the size of the Verna, similar size, and that exposed metal is not such a good thing. Anyways, will the spare wheel be an alloy? Well, it is not an alloy, and it happens to be a smaller size tire, 175/70/14. Well, that's pretty small indeed. Okay, it has got these struts on the boot mechanism, which is not there in the new City, so it's kind of easy to close that. And they also have a keyhole here, just in case you want to open it manually. And reverse parking sensors, so plenty of features which appear on the outside, but on the inside, well, lot is lacking. Like I was telling you, the gloss black finishing on the outside rear view mirrors also look really nice. We didn't talk about the lights in detail. Now, okay, you get an LED DRL, you get a projector setup, but this is not an all LED light, unfortunately. This happens to be a halogen unit still, and this obviously is halogen to the fog lamps, but it gets a cornering function. Nice sporty bumper, rather lip spoiler at the front, and I love the grille on the car. You're obviously getting a lot of black finishing for that sporty appeal, and it definitely comes across as striking. Let's quickly get inside. First and foremost, the Rapid doesn't have much space on offer. Yeah, it has decent space actually, but okay, I've locked the car. It's nothing when you compare it to the new City or the old City or any City for that matter, and also of course the Ciaz, but it's slightly better than the Verna for sure, without a doubt. And these seats actually look aftermarket, this red treatment there. The door pockets at the rear are decent sized as such, yeah. And you know what? The seat is too behind. How do I improve the legroom at the rear? I can press this button. Oh no, this is not the button I was looking for. Actually, there was a button which I was supposed to press when I could push the seat ahead. I got confused there. It was on the other side. It's no longer there. You just press that button and you can push forward the seat. Not anymore though. So floor is not flat. There's this hump in the center, which means 3 people are not comfortable inside this car. And legroom and kneeroom is decent. Seat is also a little high as such, which means that under thigh support is just about average. It would have been poorer if the seat was lower. The seat is on a height and view around is also decent. In fact, let me shut this, shut with the third. Okay, you've got a sun blind at the rear, and this is obviously manually put. So, you know, you can just remove it like this. You have to manually put this sun blind. There's the sun blind, and it's a good thing is Skoda offered some practical bits here and there, like of course the sun blind, which is on the rear windows, not on the rear windscreen though, and there's no center headrest. So Skoda knows for a fact that a center passenger won't be comfortable because of the massive hump. Oh god, what is happening to you, Mr. Gimbal? It's moved all over the place. So like I was telling you, here the hump is just too much, but you've got a 12-volt charging socket, should have been a USB. There's a cup holder right there, and there is a rear AC vent as well. Cabin is all black, so it doesn't have that airy feeling. It also comes with these Monte Carlo pillows. Yeah, Monte Carlo pillows, and the stitching is nice. It gets this red stitching. Red stitching is everywhere, but you know, there's actually white stitching on the seats. Red stitching is up ahead on the steering wheel. There's a center armrest, and this one does not get any cup holders as such. So the center armrest doesn't get any cup holders. Meanwhile, the seat is actually comfortable. Cushioning is very nice, and adjustable headrest. Both the headrests at the rear are adjustable. There's a light placement on the top, and this is how you operate the light. How do you operate both the lights together? Like that. Yeah, that was easy. So let's do one thing. Let's quickly get up ahead. But before that, let me tell you one thing. Another nice and interesting feature. Yeah, seatbelt has got height adjust too, and there's a hook here. There's another hook here. Handle, of course. And there are 2 hooks there too. So plenty of hooks in this car. I don't know what people want to carry, at least Skoda customers. That is the dashboard of the car, and it will remind you of the old car because it's the same as the old car. Minor changes here and there, which we will talk about in a bit. Let's do one thing. Let's move right ahead and talk about the dashboard design. But before we get going, let me tell you there are plenty of features missing in this car. Ones which are available in the Verna, of course. Like there are no ventilated seats on offer. Okay, it doesn't have any wireless charger. It even doesn't have keyless entry. It doesn't have push button start. The car is missing so many features. There's no Android Auto. There's no Apple CarPlay. What am I talking about? It's serious stuff missing in this vehicle. That's how dated it is in terms of design. Door pockets are big enough at the front, and there is a dustbin as well. Yeah, that's also a cool feature. Power window controls. These are obviously to lock or unlock the car. This is obviously for the outside rear view mirror adjustment, and you can adjust the seats height too. The front seats, again, like too jazzy, yeah. It's just too jazzy. Interior looks actually well put together and built to last too. In fact, the build quality of the car is really nice. Just listen to this. Shuts with a proper thud. Yeah, build quality of the car is really very good. And you've got a dead pedal down there. Plastics are very hard on the car. Super hard plastics everywhere on the dashboard. Obviously in the interest of cost. Press this button and the boot opens. This is the dashboard of the vehicle. Skoda being Skoda has done some smart touches, like, you know, card holder right there. That toll receipt holder is not there anymore. I don't know why it is vanished as such, but there are lights here, and you know what? There is no mirror right there. There is a ticket holder right there, and here you obviously get a mirror. Now you might be wondering, where is a USB? Firstly, this is a new infotainment system which Skoda likes to call as Android Radio. This is the first thing I have ever heard in my life, like Android Radio. What is that? So what we're going to do is we are going to quickly turn on the vehicle, and when you turn on the car, there you see, there it comes to life. Wipers already working because I think I've turned them on. No, actually it gets automatic headlights, it gets automatic wipers, it gets all of that and more. These are the controls for the headlights. This is the headlight leveler, and the instrument cluster is too old and basic too. Everything is analog, of course, and there's a digital multi-information display in the center. To operate that, you have to use this button. Okay, you use this button. There you see I'm changing multiple aspects. So it tells you the temperature, it tells you outside temperature, engine temperature, and average speed, distance to empty, fuel time, fuel economy, and all that and more. So this is obviously the control for the wipers. Let's use the wipers right away, and there you see a lot of spray on offer. Wiper works really well. This is an auto dimming inside rear view mirror. I love the stitching on the steering wheel. It looks really nice. You see, the stitching is really well done. And Skoda actually says this is a soft finish on the steering wheel. But what kind of soft finishing is this? If this is soft finishing, I don't know what exactly is hard finishing, but their website states a lot of crazy stuff. Here you see there is nothing at all, no buttons here. On the left side, obviously we've got buttons to control the audio system. So this is to pick up a call, and this is to increase or decrease the volume of track, and this is to go forward a track, this is to go back a track. Horn isn't that great. It's not a typical Skoda horn as such. That's the Skoda logo. Okay, there are horn markings on both the sides. Steering feels really nice to hold, and it obviously has cruise control. So this is the cruise control switch, and this is for indicator as well. So this doubles up as cruise control and indicator because headlight controls are obviously placed on the right side as such. Meanwhile, coming to the elephant in the room is this new 8-inch infotainment screen. It's one of the worst infotainment systems I've seen in my life, and I'm not kidding, okay? It's so plain, it's so basic, it's difficult to understand, and obviously it's got Bluetooth connectivity, but other than that, no Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto in 2020. That's ridiculous. And I think, the screen has a sticker on it. No, it's not having any sticker. The sticker is removed. I didn't have the pleasure of removing it, unfortunately. It's not very intuitive to use, and you can obviously, pair your phone in the sense that you can mirror it through a third-party app, but it just doesn't feel so exciting. It just feels so dated, and it's not very responsive. Although the good thing is it is at least legible, so even in bright sunlight, it doesn't get dark. You can see clearly. Obviously, if I, turn off the light, this will get slightly brighter as well because it obviously senses it that way. Like I told you, this is the defogger button. This is for hazard light, and there's this piano black finishing on the center console, which you might like. It gets a climate control air conditioning. There is storage space here. Actually, twin cup holders. You can keep their storage space here, and there's a 12-volt charging socket. But where is a USB? Well, a USB is there in this car, which is in the glove box, which is a very bad place to put a USB, along with, of course, an aux port too. And the glove box is actually a little chilled right now because it's got cooling function as well. Now there is some amount of storage space below the handbrake and below the front center armrest. Actually, under the front center armrest, you can open and you can keep stuff there too, just in case, and you can move this the way you want. So you can adjust the armrest to the front center armrest. Now this screen is something which has really disappointed me. Android based tablet sort of an infotainment system just feels out of place. Anyways, the steering is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, so I can just push it inside and I can take it up and down according to my own convenience. It's got UV clad glass and the windows are actually tinted. It's got a green tint as such. The windows get a green tint just to cut out light. So as you can see, the Skoda Rapid is just so devoid of features. But does the driving experience change anything? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning on the vehicle, and there it rose to life, and you can hear a bit of the 3-cylinderness when at idle, but that's about it because, okay, let's get going. And you know what? The route for today's drive is the same as the one with the new City as well as the Verna diesel, which means that all of you can make a direct comparison of how these cars actually fare. So first and foremost, the steering isn't really light at lower speeds, so requires some effort, which is actually a good thing because I've not been to the gym since almost 6-7 months, and I'm not blaming the current crisis for not going to the gym. I've been lazy myself. Anyways, this is still starting up. We've got moving. Yeah, it started up. Let's get into navigation. Here we go. So now we're going to go over some rough roads to see how is the ride quality of this vehicle. Now you'll see the City and the Verna fared very well, but the Rapid feels a little stiff. Yeah, it is stiff actually. The suspension is on the stiffer side, and that's the reason why you can feel a lot more inside the cabin, and movement is there too. But if you go over a bad patch at high speeds, it doesn't get bouncy, it just thuds through, which I think is better because the car remains so much more composed. And yes, on part throttle inputs there is decent amount of progress as such, but the car has lag lower down. Okay, see, I'm driving right now under 2000 RPM. There's no get go as such. Everything is cool and calm. Refinement is there, but there's some amount of sound as well, but just doesn't have that enthusiasm. It doesn't have that urgency at lower speeds, or rather at lower RPMs, because the turbo spools up past 2000 RPM, and below that the car is just so silent. Rather, in the way it performs, it's silent. There's no storm as such, but then once you get the turbo to spool up, it starts moving ahead with some get go. Now you can call it the silence before the storm, which we all love, But there's a problem. You have to really work the gearbox all the given moment to get going quickly or make progress, because low end is very blunt on this car. It is so blunt that it just doesn't pull when you're driving it under 2000 rpm. In fact, below 2500 rpm also, there is no enthusiasm from the motor. It just feels sleeping, probably because the turbos are sleeping, and that is one of the problems of turbocharging. The city obviously feels more peppy without a doubt, but the city's character is such, the VTEC motor's character is such that it feels ready at every given RPM. And here we go. So you see, as soon as you get into the mid-range, it surprises you with a big massive smile, because there is enthusiasm in the mid-range. There's plenty of enthusiasm in the mid-range from this motor. But once you get going out on the highway, you realize that this engine actually loves to be revved. Okay, it loves to be revved. Now we are in 6th gear, driving calmly around 70 kilometers per hour, and there's some amount of sound which is definitely coming inside. What is this engine? It is a 1 liter unit. It's a turbocharged engine. It's known as the TSI. It's got direct injection. Okay, now I am completely on the gas. Right foot is buried to the accelerator. There is not much progress. Let the turbo spool up and then it will pull strongly, I'm sure. We are in 6th gear right now. It has a 6-speed gearbox, the manual gearbox. Thankfully, the clutch is light. The gearbox gates are extremely well defined too. And by the time you reach 120 kilometers per hour, the turbo is yet to spool up, which means that we have to get into 5th gear. Now I'm in 5th gear. Now we are in the meat of the band, and that's the reason why the progress definitely improves. It produces 110 horsepower at 5000 rpm. Meanwhile, the torque output happens to be 175 newton meters from a low 1750 rpm, peaking all the way at 4000 rpm. So we've got a wide torque band. That's the reason why the mid-range is so freaking strong on this vehicle. The mid-range just feels so exciting and so enthusiastic as well. Into 1st gear, revving the motor, it revs till just under 4000 rpm. Six and a half thousand in first 50 kilometers per hour. Wheel spin on upshift. Wheel spins a lot because there is no traction control or electronic stability program in this vehicle. Barely manages to hit 100 kilometers per hour in 2nd gear, which means that if the gearing was tweaked, this car would actually be faster than what it is. It takes under 10 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. That's a lot of wheel spin on offer, and the wheel spin is there even on upshift. So like I was telling you, when you compare this engine with the Honda City, you realize that the Honda City has just better low-end punch for sure, without a doubt. But because of the turbo, the mid-range of this car is fab. It's so good that it's better than the Honda City in terms of in-gear acceleration. That's unbelievable. But nobody beats Honda, nobody beats VTEC power when it comes to top end. And in the top end, this car simply can't match the Honda City VTEC. I'm talking about the new engine, the new DOHC VTEC motor, which is there in the new City. The Rapid just can't match it. However, this car's engine is so light, it's actually lighter than both the City and the Verna. And the front also feels kind of light now. It's not nose heavy anymore, and that's something which is absolutely brilliant in this vehicle. I love the gearbox. I love operating the gearbox, and trust me, it is the gearbox which is the reason why this car is so exciting and so much fun to drive as well. Honestly, if the 1.2 liter engine which used to come in the Polo as well as the Vento came with a manual gearbox, it would have been a whole lot more fun. That's the automatic wipers working for you. So as I see it, the Rapid definitely feels very punchy and fun to drive, but drivability isn't great. However, the feel from the motor is nice. Again, the feel isn't up to City VTEC levels, but this car is fast without a doubt. It's actually faster than the Verna comfortably, and it also costs lesser than the Turbo too, which is a big win-win situation without a doubt. Here we are into 4th gear. The gearbox is such a joy in this vehicle, and the motor is so eager and responsive once you get past the mid-range, or rather get into the mid-range, the meat of the power band. Now let's do a quick comparison with the old engine, which happened to be the 1.6 liter engine, because obviously the Rapid never got the 1.2 liter engine which the Vento got. So you're going from naturally aspirated motor to a turbo. This EA211 motor is just fab when compared to the EA111, which was there in the old Rapid 1.6, and that one used to produce 5 HP less power but 22 Newton meters less torque. This car is actually 1 second faster than the Rapid 1.6. That's a humongous difference. But more than the difference in terms of acceleration, it's the feel of this car. It just feels more eager and light on its feet. And beyond that, the top speed of this vehicle is almost 200 kilometers per hour. That's how potent this engine is. A 1 liter engine taking a sedan to 200 kilometers per hour, the double turn, is absolutely mind-bogglingly phenomenal. Now there isn't much sound as such, but yes, the motor gets vocal at the higher end of the rev range, and when it does get vocal, it's a pleasing sound without a doubt. Here you see it's just wheel spins and wheel spins and wheel spins. It loves the wheel spin, and braking performance is also very nice. Yeah, don't worry, no one's behind and we have a comfortable zone. Now we're going to open the window and we're going to do what we always do best, which is rev the motor and try to hear it in a tunnel. Now this is no V8, this is a 3-cylinder, but here we go. Can't hear much, absolutely can't hear much. But over bad roads, there's a thud and the chassis kind of feels on the stiffer side, and it feels robust enough to handle all that and more. It's actually a very fun car. It is splendidly fun because that's the way it moves, that's the way this engine rewards you with punch and whatnot. So definitely the engine gets a big thumbs up from my side because the performance puts a big smile on your face without a freaking doubt. Now the ride quality, like I told you, is on the stiffer side, but you know that stiffness is something I really appreciate because of the stiffness I realized that over bad roads now, you know, there's that thud instead of bounciness, and high speed stability is also very great. But the steering, although you know it gives you good amount of feedback, doesn't really have the feel. It kind of feels lackluster in certain areas and isn't something which is going to inspire confidence to drive hard around corners. But when you talk about corners, this car has very well contained body roll. It feels eager around the corners. There's good amount of grip too, but you know there is some amount of body roll. You have to deal with that without any fuss whatsoever. Anyways, here we are, downshift into third, and there the motor revs nicely, and the way it revs is nice and fast, but the car is tall geared. It's so tall geared, like I told you, reaches almost 100 kilometers per hour in second gear. The gearing could have been done slightly better to get this car to cross 100 kilometers per hour in second, because the Honda City VTEC, the new one, does 109 kilometers per hour, 107 kilometers per hour in second gear, which means that you know you save that time of another upshift. But the upshift is a pleasure here because the gearbox is so freaking good and fun as well. This engine has such a huge responsibility. It alone is carrying the full responsibility of VW Group's small engine lineup, which is fab and mind-boggling as well. So everyone's going to be asking me the same question: Rapid Rider, Rapid Rider, Rapid Rider. So let's quickly dive into the Rapid Rider. What is the Rapid Rider? It is the entry-level variant of the Skoda Rapid. There are 5 variants on offer. The Rapid Rider is the base variant, which is priced at 8.72 lakhs on road Mumbai. Doesn't get any features as such. It's even cheaper than the Volkswagen Polo. Yeah, with the same engine, it's actually cheaper. That's crazy, but doesn't get many features as such. Anyways, it is the time to do left foot on the brake and right foot on the accelerator once again, because that's what this car absolutely loves. But you know, I just said it the wrong way. I can't do left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. I have to also take care of the clutch. Even on a wet road, it doesn't hesitate to spin its wheels. That's how good the amount of torque on offer is. In fact, I'm not kidding, Skoda's website actually says that this is about driving pleasure and environmental friendliness, something of that sort. It's just that they can't offer diesel engines anymore. They don't comply with BS6 emission norms. You should go to Skoda's website and read. There's a lot of hilarious stuff written right there. You know, I was rolling on my ass and laughing my ass. No, I was rolling on the floor and laughing my ass out when I was going through the website, because even the Rider variant has been written in a way that it doesn't get airbags. Obviously it gets airbags, but I think that's a typo there. Let's not digress. Let's talk about the fuel economy on offer. So the claimed fuel economy is 18.97 kilometers per litre, which is again an improvement by almost 3.5 kilometers per litre over the old 1.6 litre engine. And talking about 3.5, well, it is actually faster than the old 1.6 unit by 3.5 seconds from till 150 kilometers per hour. So 0 to 150 kilometers per hour, the difference happens to be a massive 3.5 seconds. That's absolutely stellar, without a doubt. And it's pouring cats, dogs, monkeys and nehas right now. So as you can see, the car feels really stable, and near the red line you can feel a little bit of the thrumminess of a 3-cylinder, but in the mid-range, which is the meat of the power band, where you're going to be driving most of the time, you're never going to realize that this is a 3-cylinder engine. And off we go. Kind of feels bassy, the exhaust note, but in the real world the fuel economy would be somewhere around 9 to 10 kilometers per litre in the city. Just imagine how much the old 1.6 used to offer, and on the highway you can stretch that to almost 14 kilometers per litre. This car has got a 55 litre fuel tank, which is kind of big when you compare it to the city as well as the Verna, which have a 40 and 45 litre fuel tank respectively. So the particular car I'm driving is the Monte Carlo, the top end variant, which unfortunately misses out on 2 airbags when compared to the style variant. But this seems to be a limited edition variant, and limited edition variants are plenty from Skoda. Monte Carlo is there. There was a Ultima which came. There was Onyx, and there was one more, Edition X, I think. So many of them. I mean, Skoda has become the master of limited edition variants, but then that's something which the VW group likes to do. We always see that happening with Bugatti. We see that happening with Lambos as well. The price of this car is almost 14 lakhs. If I have to put it precisely, it is 13.91 lakhs, which is 1 lakh cheaper than the Verna with a 1.5 litre petrol engine, the top spec, the top end variant with a manual transmission. But the Verna obviously has got a ton more features. When I compare it with the Verna Turbo, the Turbo is 2.5 lakhs more expensive, but then it comes with a state-of-the-art DSG gearbox, a 7-speed unit. See how times have flipped. Now Skoda is offering a torque converter. It plans to offer a torque converter in the Rapid later. However, now Hyundai is offering a DSG, or rather a DCT. Well, times have changed, how positively and well. Anyways, that said, what I love about the Rapid is that it's such a fun car to drive. It's a car which without a doubt puts a massive smile on your face. The brakes could have been better for sure, but it's very raw as such. As a vehicle, it's very raw, unadulterated fun, but then misses out on so many features that you're just buying something which is bare basic and hugely dated in 2020. This car belongs to 2011 or 2016, when of course it was launched and the facelift was done respectively. So if I have to sum up the new Skoda Rapid with the 1 litre TSI engine, I would say it is the Rey Mysterio of cars. It's light in weight with a light engine, a small engine, but it can definitely punch way harder and above as well. This motor loves to be revved. I want to get second and I want to rev the nuts out, and there it goes with beautiful progress. Is absolutely stunning. The chassis balance, the way this car performs, the ride also is pretty good, and the build quality is solid as well. And on that appreciation, it's time to end. Although honestly, it's a very dated a car. It doesn't have so many essential features which you would expect at this price point, or you won't mind paying slightly extra as well. Neha, you know what? This car is the Renault Duster of sedans, because the Duster also never got a new update. It still continues with the old features, and so does the Rapid. And we've got a bright day ahead. Why are the wipers working? Why did you turn on the wipers? This is your Skoda Link. It's automatically turning on wipers. Bye-bye.